Welcome, family. Thank you for joining us for another episode here on Better Minds Interrupting. Of course, me, Lovely T, also known as Trini. I have my co-host, Maria, Brown Girl Interrupting. How are you this evening?
I am fabulous. It's been a kind of crazy week, so I will say, Trini, I am so happy to be here with you today because I need to better my mind and clear my soul and spirit a little bit, and I know that's what we're about to do. So, how are you this evening?
I'm real good. I'm in good mood. Great. I'm excited about what I have to share. Um, This is going to be an interesting topic tonight, guys. So, what is the topic about? Is your OCD causing you harm?
What's up, Steph Got Jokes? Is your OCD? Salute to you, and salute
Salute,
to the
Steph Got
Ranters
Jokes.
fam.
How are you?
So is my OCD?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Hello,
So
Mr. Jones.
welcome. It's good to see you. Good evening to all the kings and queens. Salute to all in the panel and chat. Thank you, Mr. Jones, for pulling up always.
That's
I love it.
right.
We got the Ranters family heavy in here.
Yes, we love the Ranters Union. Okay,
Always.
so do you know why or how it may cause you harm?
So, well, okay, so I don't know because I don't even know, do I have an OCD? Like, do I have OCD? Because is it something we all have? Is that why it's
Mm.
going to cause some of us harm, like that we don't even
Hmm.
realize?
It could be because OCD got some components a lot of people might not know about. It's
This
more
is
than
interesting.
I got that too. No, it's more than OCD. I got that too. Oh, I do that a lot too. No, it's more than that. So let's get right to it. And I'm gonna describe what OCD is. Let's define it first. How you doing, Kennedy?
What's up, Tennessee? Thank you and welcome.
So OCD is features of a pattern of unwanted thoughts and fears, which is obsessions, that lead you to do repetitive behaviors, compulsions, and the definition of compulsion, because I need y'all to get this, is an irresistible urge to behave in a certain way, especially against one's conscious wishes. Okay? So, if anyone or who have tried to avoid the OCD, if you try to stop the obsession or try to ignore it, nothing worked. You know what happened? Instead, it only increased your distress and anxiety. In turn, you may feel driven to perform compulsive acts to try to ease your stress, despite efforts to ignore or get rid of bothersome thoughts or urges that keep coming back. So, OCD is the center around certain themes. Do you have any questions before I go any further?
So, well, okay, so you kind of struck me because you said when you try to ignore it, it actually gets worse. So it's like you call
Mm-hmm.
more attention to it when you try to ignore it?
It's almost like a child, which majority of OCD starts when you're in your childhood. All this childhood stuff, everything result back to our
Everything
childhood.
comes back to when we were kids, right? Be
Exactly.
careful how we raising those babies because they will come back and have all these issues in
Uh,
adulthood.
I promise you. So I'm sorry, I got a little because this is I'm trying to get it out there. It's interesting. But yes, it starts with your childhood. And it's almost like that child that you keep saying no. You ignoring them. They keep asking no. And they keep coming back. No. because you push it, they like, because they want it. They urging for it. Just to give you an example of if you ignore it, what the actions of ignoring it, what happens.
So your conscience is pushing for it, even though you're trying to ignore it.
Right, you're striving away from your true will. Because when you ignore the will, your whole energy is shaken up. You start doing all of the ordinary stuff that you might think is normal for you, your routine, and it's not.
So you're like fighting your compulsion, which is actually really your will. So it's not a bad thing. It sounds like almost your compulsion is important to you. It's like a part of you in this case.
It depends, but we're gonna dive deep and see. Okay. So the OCD is centered around certain things, and I'm gonna give you examples. For instance, fear of getting contaminated by germs. If you that type of person that has that OCD, then you may be the type of person that want to wash your hands all the time, right? That's a problem. Why is that a problem? Because you can develop a skin disease, dermatitis. Your skin's so raw. Now that since your skin raw, everything you touch, you're prone to be contaminated with these germs. But that was the compulsive behavior you did, and that was the consequences of that. So, would you consider that?
So wait, can I ask a question though? Because you just said the problem is because of, your skin, right? And that's true, right? Like the rawness of your skin, if that's what it is that you're constantly like washing your hands. But isn't there also a component of the compulsion of doing something like that and the amount of energy mentally that you're taking from other things to do that like also becomes a detriment?
Yes, I'm so glad that you said that. I'm probably going to repeat it again, but yes.
Okay, all right.
But yes, it's definitely those things you said, along with the fear, which is the major component, which you mentioned in the beginning of your statement. And we all know fear. Once fear has been implemented in our show, and I'm going to do something about fear. If I haven't, I think I did. I don't know. But once fear has been implanted in our conscious or subconscious, depending on which one we activated on, it gives us the tendency to do things we don't normally do. And that alone could turn into an obsession, which is a part of OCD, or a compulsion. And guess what? You can have one. You can either be obsessive, or you can either be compulsive, or you could be both with OCD. So do you realize if you have OCD, that your obsession and compulsions are excessive or unreasonable, but they take up a great deal of time and interfere with your daily routine and social, school, or work functioning? Didn't you just ask me that?
Right, because you're taking so much energy and time to focus on this thing that you're obsessing or compulsive over.
That's right. So what are the symptoms of obsession? We just went over compulsion. So the symptoms of obsession is a repeated and persistent and unwanted thoughts, urges, or images that are intrusive and cause distress or anxiety. Some will try to avoid, ignore, or get rid of them by having compulsive behavior or performing rituals. These obsessions typically arrive when you're trying to compensate OCD and you try to think or do other things. What you think about that, Maria?
Mm. Well, okay,
Interrupt,
so
interrupt.
no, I mean, honestly, I'm first just absorbing, right? Like
Right, right, of
I'm
course.
absorbing, but so it's again like the amount of mental space that's taken because you're focused so much on this, right? It's like hyper focus, right? That hyper, and anything that you do to an extreme then becomes a symptom, right? That extremeness is the symptom part of it.
Right, right. You're absolutely right. So, I'm going to give you a few examples. How many I wrote down? 5. I'm going to give you 5 examples. Some we already went through, but if you have a fear of contamination or dirt, this is one example. You may fear touching objects or other people, right?
Mm.
So when you do, that's why you may see certain people wearing gloves and it's hot as hell outside. You're like, why the hell they got gloves on? That's a clear sign they have OCD because they don't want to touch nothing. Okay. 2, doubting and having difficulty tolerating uncertainty is OCD. So having uncertainty constantly is OCD. What that looks like. Doubt you locked your door. Doubt you turned your stove off. You done checked it when you got out the shower. You turned it off when you turned it off after you finished cooking. You got in the shower, you checked again. You put your clothes on, you checked again. You went out the door, you left, and you said, did I turn that stove off? That's uncertainty.
Is that uncertainty like grounded in a lack of trust of yourself?
Yes, ma'am, it is. Yes, it is. Uncertainty.
Josh says, LOL, that's me.
Well, I guess
you're checking it all over and over again, Jaha.
Kennedy say, I think mofos just want to be ignorant on purpose and start being ignorant because they play the role of being ignorant till they believe they own shit.
Exhale. Oh, Lord.
I would say that too. I would agree with you, Kennedy. Yes, I would. 3, needing things orderly and symmetrically. Stress when objects aren't orderly or facing a certain way. Like the movie Sam, you know, in the beginning of it, it shows him facing everything right. It was like a Starbucks or something he was in. Facing everything right. Everything had to be in order. Every color matching and all that good stuff. We all know that OCD. So I have to go deeper into that. So the 4th one, aggressive.
And that's, sorry, before you go,
no,
right?
Ahead.
That's an example of, and I think so all of these pieces really come back to all the things we've been talking about, because you mentioned fear, right? And to me, the idea of like having everything be a certain way is all about control. And that's something we've definitely talked about, is the idea of the danger of wanting too much control, but also the need for control as a way to kind of like not get wrapped up in the things in life that you can't control. That's so like, right. I can control how these cans are facing, right? I can control exactly how my books are in my bookshelf if I can't control my life, right? And Kennedy says, I do that too, LOL. Yep. Right?
I mean, my kids laugh at me all the time. Why you gotta go on me like that, Kennedy? I mean, you know, I gotta teach you.
we don't throw in those big
my
words.
Kids, they know I have certain issues with how certain things look. So I can't buy bent cans in grocery stores. I refuse. If it's bent, I'm not gonna get it. I don't care that you can get a discount off of a bent can. In my mind, the can is bent and there is particles inside because it was bent that is juicing all in the can. And I'm like, no, I'm not about to poison my family. So that's going on in my head all the time. So I refuse to buy a bent can because of the way it is shaped. If it's not, I just ain't.
But that's beyond the shape of the can. You just said it. It's the particles. It's the fear of what actually is inside the can. It's not really just about the bent can.
Exactly. It goes deep. It's psychological, right? So for the fourth one, the aggressive or horrific thoughts about losing control and harming yourself or others. For example, you eating lunch and you have an image of running people over in a crowd. You just speed drive through horrific and aggressive images. That is OCD. So you could be crazy. You could be considered OCD crazy.
So that's like an extreme level of OCD. Now, is that only though mental, or does that level of OCD then becomes what you act upon? Like that's the level of extremity.
Well, you just won't go to jail for all that. You just might have that type of mind. That depends on how you grew up, what you was looking at when you was little. And OCD murder,
OCD
murder.
That's what I'm saying. Well, and when you think about it, right, there's some serial killers who really, when like their meticulousness about like perfection, right? When you think about those serial killers who have like a calling card, right? Like they have like a way they do things. There is OCD in that.
Right.
So like OCD is sometimes the potential of serial killers. Is that
serial anything if you want to consider
anything. That. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so the fifth thing, this is unwanted thoughts, including aggression or sexual or religious subjects. For example, thoughts about shouting obscenities or acting inappropriately in public. Unpleasant sexual images, avoidance of situations that can't trigger obsessions such as shaking hands or, shaking your leg up and down in this hurt, because that's an obsession. So if you see this person, and we see them all the time out here in the DMV, and they just yelling out in public, screaming obscenities, doing absurd things, we may call them homeless, and there's our other words for those. And we might be like, oh, they tripping. Something going on with them. It is. That's a part of an OCD.
Okay.
My husband had asked, would that be, could Tourette's be considered an entryway, or that an entryway for Tourette's? Possibly, because it starts in your childhood.
But are those different things when it comes to your actual like neurotransmitters and like how your brain is wired? Like Tourette's is a wiring of the brain. I don't know. I mean, but I'm asking, like, is it like more of a wiring of the brain, and OCD is another wiring of the brain? Like they're different things that are happening in your brain, or are they connected?
Well, they are kind of connected because OCD is a disability. So is Tourette's.
Right.
And they both are compulsive. Right? You just out blurting saying anything, no matter what it is. That's what compulsive is. So it may, I don't know. Maybe that's some research I might gotta do for y'all.
That's something to think about.
But I don't mind finding out. Okay, right. So what the comments say, pull them back up, y'all. So the guy that put doo-doo on the lady in the train station in the Bronx might have OCD. He might do.
But it ain't the OCD about cleanliness, let's be honest, right?
Oh my goodness. Kennedy say crazy and OCD too, different things. If a mofo tripping on how you blink and shit, that's some other shit. But I'm just saying. I agree. I mean...
I mean, they're not a lot. I mean, they can
You
have
will be able to
overlap.
tell. If you see this guy every day on the train putting shit on somebody, you know he got OCD. Kennedy said, if a mofo count how you blink and shit, they just crazy. That's not OCD. Hey, well, you never know. Shoot, they might like counting blinks.
Maybe, right? All right. Charlton Julian, welcome. Salute to the
Welcome,
panel.
welcome. Okay, so let's get to the compulsive symptoms. Kennedy, I had OCD when I lost my weed. I blame Diane. So you losing it when your OCD kick in. Go ahead and put that answer up there. You losing your weed. How did your OCD kick in? In the meantime, compulsive symptoms are repetitive behaviors that you feel driven to perform. This behavior or mental acts are meant to reduce anxiety related to your obsessions or prevent something bad from happening. Engaging in the compulsions brings no pleasure, but only a temporary relief from anxiety.
Okay, so wait, now we have to slow down because this goes back to the very first thing you said, which is that it's ignoring your will. So I thought when we ignore our will, we're ignoring ourselves to some degree. But you're saying that if I accept my will and accept the compulsion and do the compulsion, I'm still actually doing something dangerous to myself. It's not accepting myself necessarily.
If you have an obsession and a compulsion, that only applies if you have OCD. So in the normal you that has no OCD, when you push your will away, that's you not accepting that. That's you, because you're in your normal self, right? That's you just pushing away and being in denial. Okay, whereas OCD is a psychological thing, and it can turn around and affect your normal way of you pushing your will away and you interacting, because now you're on the obsession side and a compulsive side, and you're not thinking about you pushing back your will. You're just thinking of, whatever you're obsessed or whatever you're compulsive, you're just thinking about that particular behavior.
It's so unconscious that you don't even realize it. When it comes to the point that it's so unconscious that you don't realize it, then it is going against your actual will, even though your will is telling you to do it.
Right.
Because it's telling you, it's like things are firing in your brain telling you that this is going to give you satisfaction, but it's temporary satisfaction based on a compulsion, not on actually solving a problem, not on actually addressing a need. It's a Band-Aid.
That's right.
But it's a dangerous Band-Aid.
Right, because you turn it into a habitual pattern. It becomes damaging. You're not focused. Your routine is lost. You done became so thrilled in this compulsive thing that you're doing, and this behavior. You can't accept going back to being normal.
So you're reliant on it. It's part of now how you function, and it becomes your crutch.
Right.
But it becomes your crutch. But it's a dangerous crutch.
It's a dangerous crutch.
And you mentioned some of the dangers, right? So there's fear, there's your mind being taken over. What are the other dangers of this crutch? Okay,
so compulsions are excessive and often are not realistic, related to the problem they're intended to. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some compulsion themes and examples. which are the signs, and I'm going to include some symptoms. So, as I stated earlier, washing and cleaning, okay? Hand washing until your skin become raw. That's not good. That is a symptom. You see somebody's skin raw, you will know that they have OCD. Like I told you, you see them wear gloves, you know they have OCD. 2, checking doors repeatedly to make sure they lock, checking the stove to make sure it's off. Uncertainty, that right there, that checking, okay? Counting, we all know that. I'm a numbers lover. So counting certain patterns, okay? Following a strict rule. An example of that could be silently repeating a prayer, word, or phrase. Demanding reassurance. Removing doubts or fear. Arranging your canned goods to face the same way. Now you know that is a can of beans over there. But because you needed to face you so that you can see that it say it's a can of beans, all your cans has to be like that. Demanding, I already said that. So that is, all those are compulsion themes, and those were examples. Now, the causes of OCD.
So can we step back? Because I'm thinking, I hear theme, and I think we need to call it out. The theme that I'm hearing is that everything you just mentioned, the cleaning, the checking, the counting, the control of the visuals, like of how things look, are all finding satisfaction to somehow soothe something internally that are external.
That you fear, yes.
So you are trying to heal yourself by externally dealing with things rather than internally dealing with things.
Yes. Escapism in some kind of way. Didn't we do this?
We did this last week. Escapism.
Yeah. And it's kind of escapism in some kind of way. It's a connection. So let's get into the causes of the OCD. So and these are just theories because this is not medically proven. They did clinical research and studies and stuff like that. It's just haven't been stamped that this is proven evidence. So causes of OCD could be from biology, meaning your OCD may be a result of changes in your body, your own natural chemistry or brain functions. It could be genetics. It could be a genetic component through it being inherited, but they haven't found what gene it would be if it was an inherited gene. And learning. Like I stated earlier, inherited, but through watching your family and your friends. So you can be like, I'm always I gotta clean, but it's not really OCD. It is OCD, but only because it was learned. It was learned behavior through your family. So on that note, we will take a break and we will come back. Welcome to Yomi, a yoga meditation program. Yomi, life attunement. You will learn to balance your 7 chakras. It's about self-improvement and self-acceptance. Using meditation to clear your thoughts.
Yummy.
It will help you gain strength and flexibility. Maximize your self-confidence. Welcome back.
I love it. So I want to say before we move on, I have to say I know that when we talked about this, but those candles that you have actually, when you get those candles, you get crystals inside them. And I want to say I actually am wearing some of the crystals from the candles that I got, and this lovely bracelet of crystals that I also got with my candles and my soaps for my chakras. Um, and I have truly appreciated what I have learned from you in this year of knowing you, or really year and a half almost of knowing you, right?
Yeah, yes.
But I want to know, like, for the audience itself, right? Yomi is such a interesting name. Tell me a little bit more about your inspiration for the name of Yomi Attunement.
Well, I'm a fan of acronyms, always trying to come up with something. But Yomi, when I became a master in yoga, master practitioner, I wanted to do something different. And a lot of people don't know that your chakras correlate with yoga a lot. And so does Qigong, which is a new addition to Yomi. So now it's Yomi Chi. And I will show moves and all that good stuff too. Fellas, you're more welcome to come. Don't be shy. You need to be flexible too. Some of y'all are stiff than a board. Want us to be flexible? We need y'all to be flexible too.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Men need flexibility is a good thing. It is a necessary thing. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
So wait. So where are they coming to join you? Because you just said, "Come and join me." Is there something coming up for us to join?
There is. So March 12th, I am doing a workshop. This workshop will be held via YouTube. You can actually go on Ranters Union website. What is it, Maria? www.rantersunion. Put it up, John, please.
Like John's gonna put it up. John's gonna put it up. Don't you put me on the spot? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, put it up there, John. It's on the Ranters Union website. It's also on Facebook, yomi.trini. We'll have the links below as well. I will add them in tonight. It's $24.99. Along with it, you get the soap, you get the candle, and you also get a necklace.
And your mind, body, and soul.
Your mind, body, and soul. So I also, there we go, therantersunion.com.
Thank you, Ja.
So I also talk about, well, it's 7 series. Right now we're doing part 1. And it's working on the root chakra. So we're going to get grounded first before we can do anything. And that's the other link to it. You could probably just click on it if it's clickable. But if not, you can copy and paste it into your browser. It's uplifting. I'm also going to share some secrets with using essential oils. Because you know you can go in Walmart and buy essential oils for $3, $4. I'm going to give y'all some recipes using essential oils. And these are very good recipes that you can use on your own daily house usage. You'd be amazed. So I share good stuff. It's going to be a ball. We're going to have some fun. It's going to be live.
I love
and
it.
I'm there.
I love it.
We're going to meditate, and we're going to do some yoga and some qigong. But we're going to learn some stuff too.
And I love it because, like you said, we're starting with the root chakra. And I think one thing I realized is that you can't be skipping levels.
You cannot skip
levels. I made some errors along my way.
Right, real quick. You got 7 chakras, 7, right? And they're aligned in your body, straight up and down. So if your root is at the bottom, if you don't do the root, let's say you skip the 2nd and 3rd chakra. The 2nd and 3rd one is not spinning. You're off balance. You're off balance. You're limping. Okay, you're limping. I'm trying to make you walk straight.
Well, and you know what? For those of y'all who don't know what that is, haven't done any chakra work, off balance is those days when you just feel like you just can't get it together, right? Like you can't seem to find your center. You can't seem to find the light. You're feeling down. You're feeling weak. You're feeling like tired, right? Like those are those off balance days. And I know as I'm saying it, y'all are resonating. Like, you know what I mean, right? And oftentimes we just feel like, oh, it's an off day. No, there's something going on.
There's more than that.
There's something deeper that you're not addressing. And if you don't address it, like maybe going to this workshop, right? And getting some of that Yomi Chi attunement, is you are going to continue that cycle. You're not going to get through it. It's going to keep coming up. And that's the bottom line. The bottom line is that this is what bettering our minds and our souls is. It's recognizing what we truly need to find our peace that's internal. Not external, but internal, right?
That's right. I'm trying to make you shine inside so that when you looking out and you outside, you're bright. Your headlights is on. You're shining. Your aura is so bright that you like, I'm gonna stay away from you and you, because I can't. Y'all can't shake me.
That's it, right? Like nothing will dim my light. Nothing will penetrate my aura. That's also right. Another thing that Trini does is she gives you some excellent affirmations. I have mine listed right here in my little meditation space behind us, and I say them daily. And Trini, I don't know if I told you, but I say them with my daughter daily too, because they are affirmations that are building her awareness of self too. So
that is so cool.
it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So y'all need to just not sleep on Trini. She is amazing. She is brilliant. She has got some good stuff. So come join us in that workshop. I'm excited for it. I'm bringing some friends. I'm gonna bring some friends, and my ranters friends are coming with us.
That's right. Come join.
All right.
Let's heal. Come on now.
Yes. Okay. It is all about the healing. Okay, so I've got some questions for you as we keep going. Unless if you're going somewhere with this, because I've been thinking about, as we were talking about this idea of obsessive compulsive, right? And going back to the very first thing you said, which is that we all have something a little bit in us, right? Mm-hmm. So this morning, I was thinking about the way my brain works, right? And so one of the things I tend to do is I tend to see a circumstance in front of me and be like 10 steps ahead of what it's going to look like in the future, right? So here's an example. I'm watching my daughter playing with a couple of kids at the bus stop. And it's just playing, and it's kids playing. It's young girls playing, right? Little 5 and 6-year-olds. And in my head, I'm already like, what are the patterns of friendship she's going to go through, and how is she going to deal with this? And like, I can hear myself already like doing like all the overthinking. And I'm like, and as you were talking about obsessive compulsive, I'm like, oh my God, that's what I do. I go 10 steps ahead.
Uncertainty.
Is that what that is? Is that an obsessive thing? Is that a compulsive
lot of people
thing?
Don't realize that. If you have an uncertainness to you, where you always I gotta check to make sure, or I gotta make sure this goes this way because I need to control the outcome. I want to know what's going to happen.
And is that rooted, because we go back to childhood, right? So is that rooted on when you take past experiences? So like for me, as I'm thinking about what I was reacting to, I was thinking of past experiences with girls and friends and friendship, and how they pour out, right? And this concern that I don't want my daughter to, be hurt by anybody. I don't want her to hurt anybody else. So I'm going through, literally, it's 10 minutes at the bus stop, and this is what my brain does, right? The last thing I need to be doing with as much things are on my brain, but this is where I go, because, and it is, like you said, it's the uncertainty, but that uncertainty is grounded in things that I've experienced. So sometimes some of us overthink and overanalyze to the point where we are taking past experiences and associating them with current things in the future.
Right.
It hasn't even happened yet.
It triggered you. But that was from your childhood, like you said. It triggered you.
It totally triggered me. And I see myself doing this with my boys sometimes. I see myself doing this in relationships. I see myself doing this with work circumstances. It's how my brain works.
It's the uncertainty of it. It's the want to have control to know what the outcome is. You want to know the outcome before you even start. You want to make sure everything is right. You want to make sure that's the perfectionist part. And you got to let it go, because you can't be perfect. Sorry. You are perfect being imperfect.
Woosah. Because, okay, so here's the thing. I never thought I was a perfectionist. Okay. I've always looked at myself as a very laid back person, and yet none of that I just described, and none of the things you just said about me being a perfectionist makes me feel laid back, right? But it's that uncertainty, and that's need for perfection. So perfection doesn't always come from us trying to be perfect in ourselves. I think that's how we define perfectionism. I have to be perfect. But that's not my perfectionism. I'm perfectly fine being imperfect.
Right.
What has to be perfect for me is the perfectionism of everything that I'm experiencing or that I have an impact on, right? Oh, what's up? It's my friend Steve, Battlecat 3000.
Hello.
What's up? I think I may be a perfectionist after listening to this. Yes, Steve, right?
But this is what I'm trying to make everybody realize. That's why I focus on personal development. Because we don't, it's a lot of things we ain't like that. Oh, I know what that is. No, you don't. As you can see, as I was doing my research and trying to pull this stuff together, I was like, damn, I got OCD. I'm just, but we need to know ourselves. A lot of people don't know that uncertainty could be OCD. But if you overthink, if you overdo, then that is what? You're uncertain. So you must overthink. You must try to see A, B, C, D, E, F, G scenario. Okay? B ain't enough. You need C, D, E too.
And it's coming from a scarcity mindset, right? So part of like awareness of self is that what I'm recognizing is that it is like, as you're saying this, right? And as I thought about it, I didn't think about it as much at the bus stop, I'll be honest. I thought about it just now when we were talking, right? But that's it. It's a scarcity mindset rather than an abundance mindset. And I think that's the core of this idea of a compulsive too, right? It's the scarcity thing that drives it versus the idea of feeling that there's an abundance that you have to draw from. You feel like you're lacking or you're not going to get something or you're not going to have something. And therefore, that's the driver of your decisions.
That's right. Think about it. When you fear something, right, you're automatically trying to figure out a solution. Because you're scared of what might be happening. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, John.
Yes. We're preaching tonight. Thanks, John.
Because you fear of what might be happening, right? So along with that fear, and fear is a heavy emotion. Imagine it being a part of OCD. All the way to Z.
To Z too, yes, Mr. Jones, right?
Yes.
All the way.
Every letter covered. But
so fear is driving us.
The fear is the worst part. But can you have OCD and not have fear?
I don't know. Can you? It feels like it's the driver of everything, though.
So no, you can't. You can't say I don't fear anything and then say, oh, I got OCD. I got to clean. Fear drives that. Fear. So yes, you do have fear. Fear is a strong component of OCD. It's the reason why you have OCD in most cases. So let's talk about the complications. The complications may include excessive time spent engaging in ritualistic behaviors. It could include health issues such as contact dermatitis from frequent hand washing. It could be difficulty attending work, school, or social activities. You could have trouble relationships. You could have an overall poor quality of life because you fear so much. You could have suicidal thoughts and behavior, which is all no good. So, Maria, you have a project coming up today. Well, not today.
On Sunday.
Show on Sunday, 9 p.m. You want to...
So I've been writing for a while. As some of you know, I'm a blogger, and I've been writing about my own story of how I have gone through pain and turned it into empowerment and helped heal myself, or healing myself. Let's be honest, it's a journey, and I haven't arrived yet, and you never do. I think you're constantly healing, you're constantly cultivating your peace, right? So. But in that process, I have learned a lot, and I have shared my story with others. And now I am venturing into a new show of sharing other stories that are taking pain and turning it into power. So we're going to see a little bit about that now. My world has slowly crumbled around me countless times, and every time I rebuild with the pieces I've been given to birth something so transformational and beautiful that no one else knew might exist before it was shown to them. These moments tend to coincide within my romantic path. The universe has been telling me to focus on the revolution and not romance. It has over time given me the tools, resilience, and light to turn my pain into power. And only now do I see that the key to this always resided in the love and knowing I had in myself, not from the external sources of family or men. The message I have been avoiding might be that my time in this world I had existed in was not to receive love, but to put it out there for others to see, feel, and heal through. Revolution before romance moves pain into power.
So what's coming up Sunday?
So on Sunday, March 6th, you've got to come and watch us at 9 p.m. on Brown Girl Interrupting on YouTube to see my guest, whose special guest is Charles Stokes. He is a poet. He's a spoken word artist, and he's going to perform. And yes, thank you, Mr. Jones. You've pulled up in our sessions and been there with us, and you're going to be there again at 9 p.m. on Sunday. Thank you. And yeah, so Charles is a spoken word poet. He has taken pain and turned it into power. He took his own story and his experience of depression and became a poet and a publisher, started a publishing company and started publishing poetry for others, and has just a great story of healing that you got to come and learn more about. So check me out on Brown Girl Interrupting on YouTube. I'll be on the Ranters Network on YouTube. We'll be on Bettermindz Interrupting. So here, subscribe to all the channels so you get all of the information, and you are there 9 o'clock on Sunday night. For Pain to Power, Leading with Love.
That's right. That's right. Okay, before we head out, how do we get OCD? How do you defeat it? Okay. Well, it starts in childhood. It's whatever you feared in childhood, and as you grow up, it may have gotten worse. You may have never being a child, of course, you're not gonna know, oh, I need some help. I keep doing this until you become an adult. Now, if you go to a doctor and you explaining to him all kinds of issues you're going through, and he be like, you got OCD. You can get some medical help. You can get some type of good influence to try to change your patterns, but it is curable. You just have to be strong enough to want to make it change, want to make that happen, as we all have to be strong in anything that we try to break that is a bad habit. But that's pretty much how you get it. Your childhood traumas, whatever feared you. You know, when a child is really scared of something, it's for a reason. You shouldn't push it to the side. You should really pay attention to why you scared of that. What's wrong? What happened for you to be scared of that? Y'all parents gonna have to start digging deep so we can have a little bit less OCD going on out here. Because it starts mainly with your childhood. However, you can get it in your adult life. You could all of a sudden start, I don't know, hanging with someone that you really dig, and you know, y'all cool, and yeah. But the shit he's doing, you shouldn't be doing. And once you start doing, almost like a drug habit, once you start it, it's hard to kick. So you just gotta want to make that change.
So one, it's like a trauma response to some, right? Like it sounds like, right? So, but then it also sounds like it's a little bit more complicated than just a mindset shift, right? Like we're talking about like it's a disorder, right? So and disorders require some deeper dive into the root cause and then being able to really identify it. So it's not like you can just shake it off, right? Like you said, right? It's a deeper dive, just to make it clear to others, right? We're not saying that you can just be like, okay, I'm not going to be OCD anymore, right? Like there's a
Right,
reason.
no.
It's getting to the root of why is it that I am compulsive to begin with? What is this resolving in my mind for me, right? So Josh says throw therapy. I think we have another comment from Kennedy. What do you say?
It's levels to it, but sometimes a blunt and a conversation will be throw therapy.
Yes.
Throw therapy.
And throw therapy, y'all gotta check out Kennessy's channel and throw therapy, because it's some good therapy of some good laughter, which sometimes, you know what, it's not gonna cure anything, but it certainly will be a good night to just enjoy and chill out, right?
Yes, it will be. So what when do Kennessy's show come on?
Kennedy, when's your show come on? I think it's when Kennedy wants his show to come on. It's when Kennedy's shows come on. You just got to go to his channel and subscribe and hit that little notification bell so that when Kennedy is ready to be throw therapy, you are there.
Okay, so I know everybody come across someone that is noticeable that have OCD. And so there's things you should not say to people. There's a reason why you need to be kind and careful to what you say, because you don't know how detrimental your words could hurt another person. So I came across this article, and I just want to read it real quick. I think it was a little important. It's called "What Not to Say to Someone with Obsessive Compulsive Disorder." It's by Kristen Fawcett. Okay, so she put hint. Avoid, don't worry. I'm kind of OCD sometimes too. Avoid saying that. It's not good. If somebody says, I got OCD, I got real bad OCD. Oh, I understand. I got it too. No, don't do that.
It's like you've invalidated what they just said.
Exactly. And that makes it worse. Right? Okay, so maybe you have had a roommate who constantly worries that she left her hair straightener turned on, even if she remembers unplugging it early that morning. Perhaps your spouse is so fixated on keeping a section of the house clean, say a countertop or a swath of floor, that he or she ignores an overflowing sink or a full trash can. You might have a friend who likes to count things, mailboxes, cracks in the sidewalks, lampposts. Or maybe your father confided in you that he experiences intrusive and disturbing thoughts he can't cast aside no matter how hard he tries. There's a good chance these people have OCD, a brain behavior disorder that affects approximately 2 to 3% of the population. That's heavy. According to Jeff Sinsmansky, I hope I'm not messing that name up, a clinical psychologist and executive director of the International OCD Foundation. And if you don't know much about OCD, the comments you offer could come across as hurtful, ignorant, or dismissive instead of curious, helpful, or empathetic. Here are some phrases to think twice about saying to a friend, family member, or acquaintance with OCD. Don't worry, I'm kind of OCD too. Maybe you've never been diagnosed with OCD, but you can on some level relate to constantly dwelling on a certain thought or needing to make sure everything around you is just so. Being obsessive or compulsive about things is normal. However, being prone to analyzing things or being fastidious about your surroundings is not OCD. It's just your personality. According to experts, OCD refers to frequently upsetting thoughts or obsessions that cause extremely anxiety in an individual, who then tries to relieve this anxiety by engaging in rituals or behaviors known as compulsions. Everyone experiences obsessive thinking and engages in compulsive behavior to an extent. But folks with OCD experience it so intensely they feel mentally and or physically uncomfortable. They often engage in rituals with the goal of making unwanted thoughts or feelings go away. Not because they enjoy performing them, and as much as they like to, they can't always control these actions. OCD is when thoughts, feelings, and behaviors occur to the point where they're interfering with a person's ability to participate in day to day activities. You can't get to work, you can't sleep, and you can't engage in relationships the way you like to. So if you're cleaning your house for hours at a time because you like doing it, you don't have OCD. You just like to be clean. Like me, I clean all damn day. I don't have OCD cleaning though, okay? Because I'm not in the cracks, making sure that the dirt ain't there. But if you're cleaning because you're trying to obliterate bad thoughts and feelings you might have, and whether you're likening your own behavior to OCD as a way to empathize with someone else, or because you simply joking about your own quirks, it can come across as insensitive and travelizing to those who actually have the disorder. Okay, so be careful with how you say. Here's another one. You don't look like you have OCD. What the hell that look like? Please tell me. Tell me what a person with OCD look like.
Right. There's no way to know that, right? Because we just talked about how OCD is something that could happen in your mind mentally. It doesn't necessarily show in your actions for everyone. And there, you can't assume. You can't assume anything.
You can't
about
assume
anyone.
because even if you see somebody wearing gloves, they might just have eczema and can't be revealed to the sun. You don't know, so you can't assume. Right? Here's another phrase. Want to come over and clean my house? That's an insult. Why? One misconception about OCD is that those who have it are obsessed with cleanliness and germs and engaged in compulsions such as cleaning or hand washing. But there are many other obsessions and compulsions. For example, scrupulosity is a form of OCD in which individuals to become hypervigilant toward religious or moral practice, obligations, and rituals. As a result, they exaggerate a sacrament or pray multiple times a day. Some people with OCD experience unwanted thoughts that are occasionally sexual and violent. Such thoughts don't mean the people who have them are deviants or that they act on them, but they can cause great distress and prompt those who have them to avoid potentially triggering situations or engage in other compulsions they believe will undo harm. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read these other phrases and I'm not going to go into the detail of it. I will post the article for you to read it. Jose said, I couldn't stand when my cousins would do that. He damn sure joined the cult too. Wow, damn. See? Look at that. Look at that right there. Another phrase, you're being irrational. Why can't you just stop? It's all in your head. It's just a quirk tick. It isn't serious. Just relax. You just need to learn to live with it. Those are the phrases, and I will post the article.
So those are all like honestly microaggressions in many ways, right? Like they're all invalidating rather than supporting. So what I did here, because I think just as we're starting to think about like, closing this out, is how do you support someone who maybe has OCD, right? So empathy, validation, and allowing for space for them. So like if what they need to do is clean their house 3 or 4 times before they go out with you, give them the time to clean their house 3 or 4 times before they go out with you. Don't question it. Just give them the space to do what makes them feel like they are
comfortable
and comfortable, right?
Yes.
I think I saw some final chat comments in here. I don't know if we want to throw those back up, Ja.
Come to my house trying to wash my dishes, LOL, and clean my weed tray up. Yes, don't say that either.
Look, some of us are not natural cleaners like that, though. I'll be honest. Like, I'm not OCD and I'm not dirty, but I'm certainly not going to be cleaning for fun either, right? Like, that's not my wheelhouse.
His house always clean while he cleaning. Well, I have some final thoughts for you guys before we head off. And be kind with your words. You never know how what you say can lead to somebody deaf. So please be careful. On that note, catch Maria Sunday, 9 p.m. Catch Open Minds. We like Hennessy. We just pop up. But we got something real big and spiritual we about to cook up. So make sure y'all check us out. We might pop in Saturday. And check out Better Minds.
Where are we going for Open Minds? What channel?
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Palmer Studios. It's on YouTube. Just type in Palmer, Palmer Studios, and you will see us there. It's a red logo. But check us out. Better Minds Interrupting here every Thursday, 9 p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel.